going to have them introduce themselves. So I'm going to have you go first.
I'm Madison Darling. I'm the Grants and Collaborations Officer at the Provident Health Foundation.
And I am awesome, too. 1, 2. I'm John Hofer. I'm the Executive Director at Provident Health.
Had to. Sorry. So welcome, guys. And I guess we're going to talk about the grant cycle that's open right now. How awesome is that?
Yeah, you know, Melissa, it's important. And I'm not going to give Madison's half an hour explanation. But Provident is a private foundation. And although that means many things, it means, A, we got all of our money from one place.
Right.
And so we're governed under a different set of rules by the IRS. And one of those rules is every year we have to spend 5% of what's in our bank account on things that support our mission. Wonderful. So that means roughly $600,000 a year has to go to support improving community health. That we have to
in a very specific community. So it has to be in for programs or projects that serve the residents of Marinette County, Wisconsin, and Menominee County, Michigan. So one program doesn't have to serve both counties' residents, but our definition of community health is these two counties, which is pretty neat. So we're in a grant cycle right now. Yep. It opened on February 4th and closes on March 16th, and our goal is to, and our purpose is to fund programs and projects that advance Provident's mission as well as Provident's strategic plan. So that's informed by the Community Health Needs Assessment, which is conducted every 3 years. And the results have, for the most part, stayed the same on the top issues that are barriers to our residents having a long, full, healthy life. And those things are the areas that we're trying to fund money towards to target to change so that we can improve our community's health outcomes and community health overall. So
the other thing that's important to know about Provident is that we don't do programming.
No.
So if change is going to occur, it's going to be us helping other organizations do what they do and removing at least that financial barrier from having them do that.
And, you know, I just had a guest on earlier, Catholic Charities, and they, you know, talking about the program, the Youth Connect group that you guys help support. So that sounds like a great group, a great program, a great everything for the youth in our communities. So,
they're doing a great job, and we're so grateful. We have really wonderful nonprofit partners. We do view it as a partnership. We view grant funding as a way that we partner to advance community health. We aren't out doing the work. We're helping remove that financial barrier and providing other resources along the way. And we have so many incredible people and nonprofits doing great work to improve the community's health. We fund in 3 specific areas and 4 specific areas. And we're really using this grant cycle as a way to continue our partnerships with nonprofits and bring new ones in that are looking to advance the same initiatives that we are. So our grant cycle, we're looking for programs and projects that improve community health by reducing childhood obesity, reducing preventable mental health conditions, and reducing substance misuse, as well as improving healthcare access through prevention and promotion efforts. So our board has decided we're going to fund earlier rather than later. We're going to focus on that 0 to 18 and really target evidence-based interventions at them to change the landscape and structure of our community, so that way these things that have been barriers to a healthy community are removed.
Well, and a study shows if you get them while they are young, it becomes a lifelong learning trait, and it's passed on to their children and so on.
Exactly.
So, you know, just...
Yeah, when we were first starting out almost 7 years ago, we realized that while there was a great deal of attention placed on recovery and treatment, that front end really was kind of getting a short shrift. And so we wanted to use our funds, which are going to be there forever, to take that long view. We're not worrying about what the problem is today. We're going to try to make sure that problem doesn't exist down the road.
Long term. So who are you, I guess who's eligible to apply?
Nonprofits that serve the residents of Marinette County, Wisconsin, and Menominee County, Michigan with their programming. And they need to be a registered 501c3 organization in good standing with the IRS and their state of operating. Schools, government entities, churches, anyone that has that automatic assumed nonprofit. But it does have to be a nonprofit. It cannot be an individual person or a for-profit entity.
Okay. And then, now this is your 5th grant cycle, right?
Yeah.
So is there anything new this cycle that's happening?
It's always something.
There's always something new. There is.
We learn from every grant cycle, and shame on us if we're not in a cycle of improvement. And so, based on what we've seen in previous cycles, and it probably falls into the category of someday they'll thank us for it. But we are trying to make sure that we never have to say no to a grant application that is submitted. So a lot of changes we made are to make it a more effective application by the grantees.
So this cycle, we are requiring concept calls before we release the application access code. And that is to serve a few purposes. First is, if it very obviously, we do have funding criteria, and they're available on our website in like 4 different places. And if a project or program comes to us that very obviously doesn't fit the criteria, we don't want anyone to spend time applying.
Right.
If they would just waste their time.
Exactly.
So we want to catch those early and say, we had someone who only serves a county in another state schedule a concept call, and I said, friend, you don't serve our area, we can't serve yours. And they said, well, thank you for saving us, a few hours of time.
Yeah.
So we want to make sure we catch those that aren't a criteria fit. If it is a criteria fit or a potential, eligible for funding, we want to help it be as strong as possible. So in the past years, we've always made ourselves available if someone wanted to set up a time to talk with John or I ahead of their application, or if they had questions. And we noticed the ones that did had stronger applications. Mm-hmm. So we want everyone to have that opportunity to understand better what we're looking for. And we also have resources and connections and ideas and can help make it stronger or better. And
there's been more partnering among funding sources in the last 2 years.
I've noticed that.
Oftentimes, if we're talking to someone and it isn't a fit for us, but still can advance the community, we try to put them in touch with one of these other funders where there might be a stronger match.
And that, I think, I've heard that more than once, and I think that's awesome, because I don't think there was a lot of that really happening in the past. So a lot of that,
there's
collaboration.
There's no reason for us to not collaborate and talk to each other. Just like nonprofits often have different service areas or different clientele or missions, funders also have different missions, but we all are working for the betterment of our community. Right. And so we are not a community foundation. We're actually a completely different structure than a community foundation or a United Way or a corporate foundation. We're all considered different by the IRS. And that means that there are very real limitations that we have or real benefits that we have, and we can share in that when we collaborate. And we're just so grateful I'm really grateful for our funding partners. It's a lot of fun. It's so much, I think you can have so much more fun working together to improve the community.
Definitely.
So we're requiring those concept calls, and half the time I'm saying either it is or it isn't a fit for us, but can I introduce you to? And no one said no yet, that they wouldn't take an introduction.
That's good.
But so that is new this cycle, and we're really encouraging people to, even if they're like, I don't know if it's a fit, it doesn't have to be, they don't have to have all the questions before setting up a concept call. Just talk to us.
Just have a conversation.
You can schedule it on our website and our Facebook page.
So now, who or what isn't eligible? Not available, but eligible.
Well, outside of the fact that they need to be a nonprofit, they need to be 501c3 church, school, governmental unit. We're looking for organizations who will be good stewards of our funds. So we like to see a strong board structure. We like to see effective executive directors and a program of work.
Good financial management.
If those things aren't present, that isn't an automatic checkoff, but it does give us an idea of where there might be an opportunity to do some development work with them.
Right.
So that's the other thing we provide nonprofits is roll up our sleeves and help them go through things like bylaws reviews or board self-evaluations or continuity binders or all of those things that are best practices among the nonprofit community. So nonprofit, good organization, good steward of our funds, and a program that we see as potentially effective in moving the needle.
I will say we are trying to have a very specific impact in the community. And our funding, we are a health foundation, and our funding is to improve community health in a very kind of specific lens, right? Prevention, promotion of these 3 or 4 different topic areas. If something isn't a fit for our funding, that does not mean it's not a program worthy of being funded or of occurring or isn't going to make the community better in some way. We really encourage individuals in the community as well as businesses or groups to contribute to those causes that are going to improve the community in their specific area they really care about. We have a very narrow scope because we're a private foundation and we're a health foundation with a very specific mission.
Right.
And I do want to say, if it's not eligible for our funding, that does not mean it is not a worthy and necessary program.
Exactly. It's just that
it's not you, it's us.
Yes.
Exactly. You and me. So when are the applications due by?
March 16th. So
March 16th.
TikTok.
Yeah.
Ooh, it is really. There's only, what,
2.5 more weeks?
Yeah, I was going to say just a couple weeks. And then what happens after someone applies?
Well, it's all done online.
Right.
And after the application is submitted, we'll review it first and look for anything that might need to be tweaked, changed, or that we don't necessarily want to advance to the board. But then the board rolls up their sleeve because we have full board evaluation of the applications.
So our entire board takes a look at all the applications, and then they meet to decide and discuss. John and I don't make the decisions. We are here to support applicants in their process and also to support the board in their evaluation. And so the board meets and discusses, and they will decide at the end of April, and decisions will be announced at the beginning of May.
Wow. Now, how can people get in touch with you guys to learn more? I know you brought it up earlier, but...
Yeah, providenthealth.org.
Okay.
On our website, there's a grant application tab, and it has all of our criteria. We are not hiding any information on what is and is not eligible. Fully transparent. It's really important to us. You can see all the grants that we funded in the past. You can see all of our criteria for funding. You can see we've even created guides on how to write a convincing grant application if you've never written one before. That's accessible on there as well. And then our contact information. So you can also, there's a button to schedule the concept call. It is a Zoom call with me, 30 minutes, and that's just on our website. So if anyone has any questions, their email, phone, and video scheduling options are online.
That's awesome. How about you, John? Do you take any appointments?
It's a royal we when I say we do this. Yeah, unfortunately, when I get on the concept call, I kind of steal the microphone.
It's fun. It's fun. It's enjoyable.
I bet. It's got to be a blast. Well.
So, yes, you book with both of us.
You book with both of you guys.
So, yeah.
Now, is there anything that we've overlooked that you want to just kind of highlight or point out before we sign off today?
I think that one thing that we try to make sure people don't do is chase dollars.
Yeah.
Don't create a program that's going to maybe get funded, but then drive you crazy or that you aren't going to be able to deliver on. And it isn't necessarily get in trouble with us, but it just it's detrimental to your organization. And don't chase dollars. On the other hand, if you got an idea or you see a need within your population, talk to us, because we may have seen somebody else in Athelstein that have figured out a solution. So it is kind of fun to work with organizations and say, you're trying to do this, but maybe take a look at what they're doing in Peshtigo.
Right.
Kind of thing.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
We're doing more of that now that we've got a stronger body of work, so to speak.
That's awesome.
That's right. We have granted over $2.3 million in the last 4 years. This will be our 5th year granting. Hopefully it's past at $2.5 million, which would be pretty cool.
That'd be neat.
Yeah.
That'd be very cool.
All for the
party.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
All for the
That's
benefit
funny.
of Marinette, Menominee County residents, which is pretty cool.
So cool. That is so cool, guys. Well, thank you so much for coming in and sharing and just giving us all this information, especially on what it is that you guys can really help, you know, those nonprofits and organizations behind the scenes. So I think it's pretty cool. If I was a nonprofit, I know where I'd be going for some answers. That's for sure.
Well, thanks, Melissa.
No problem. You guys have a good day.
All right.
And every